But speaking of being a classy man, Beth, you really caught me off guard with your message last night.
Did you get it? Did you? Have you watched the film now, though? I'm assuming you've watched the film.
Yeah.
Because I knew you guys would get it when you
watched
watched the film. And I knew it'd be
I
funny.
watched it this
I knew
morning.
that you'd watch the film and be like, oh, okay, right.
So for context, at about 10:30 last night, I just want to check what the time was actually. At 22:40 last night.
What time is that?
Beth sent me and Liam a message
20 to 11.
saying, completely out of context, saying, when was the last time you fucked your wife? And I genuinely, I read it as I took a sip of a cup of tea and I spat it over a book, and I don't feel good about this.
What book was it?
Why are you eating?
What book did you sully with your mint tea?
Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami.
Oh.
Why are you drinking tea
Which has
at
been
20
very-
to 11?
Was it decaf?
Maniac.
It was decaf, it was mint.
Was it
Right.
mint? Because I just said
I'm-
mint on a whim. Was it actually mint?
Just drink
No, it was
toothpaste then.
No, it was
Oh.
mint. I drink mint tea every
Oh,
night
you must have
before I
told me
go to
that.
bed because I'm an adult.
So you're saying you mix your toothpaste into some hot water and you drink that?
Seb does that
You know,
instead of brushing
that's
his
exactly what I do.
That
Gives
is
me a
what mint
buzz.
tea is anyway. Mint tea's fucking gross.
teeth. No, it's not. Peppermint is delicious.
Yeah,
Nah.
it's great, actually.
Anyway, I sent that as a test for you to see if you guys have watched the film, because I know you always watch it super last minute, and it was evident
I
neither
I
of
like
you
to
it
watch
last
it the
night.
same day as I record.
I watched half of it last night. I then got very tired, so I watched the rest of it when I got home from work.
I actually did that as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
You fucking sit in your tower.
But okay, so did you both
well,
you both see the line in the film and then you remembered that I
No.
Then it-
I
went over
forgot
your head.
until
It's-
Seb mentioned it just now.
Okay. I'm going to start doing
No,
that
but it
in
made perfect
conversations,
sense.
just bringing in lines from all the films, just for absolutely no reason.
That we're yet to watch. You're going to reference them from the future.
Welcome to why? But like when I do it, I feel like when I talk normally, my voice sounds normal. But as soon as you have to say something,
Yeah, you put on like a phone voice.
why do I
Yeah,
do
you
that?
like-
Why do I do
It's like
that?
you turn into a receptionist whenever you try and introduce the episode.
Welcome to Forever in Bloom, a cinematic exploration, investigation, and celebration into Jeff Goldblum's cinematic career. I'm Beth.
I'm Seb.
And I'm Liam.
Press 1 for our opinions.
So yeah, this is episode 11, film 17. Into the Night from 1985. Who was it directed by? I can't remember.
I don't know, actually. I don't even have that written down
was-
anywhere.
You fool. It was John
John
Landis.
Landis. I've got Ed
Ah.
Okin here, but
Well,
who the fuck's Ed Okin?
Ed Okin is Jeff's character.
That's
Oh,
Jeff's character.
Okay. Some director I've never heard of. No, yeah, John Landis.
Oh, he was produced Blues Brothers. Oh, directed Blues Brothers. That's mad.
I
when
can
me and
see
Ari
the
were
connection.
watching this just now, my housemate Ari was mentioning how the cars that they had in one of the chases were like the exact police car that they had in the Blues Brothers, because it was like bobbing all over the place when it was driving. So yeah, he must just love
He's
those
actu-
cars.
He's actually directed some really good stuff. Looking at his selection.
Not after
He did the
this.
Honey I Shrunk the Kid. He did the Honey I Shrunk the Kids TV show, which is the one I want
Hell
to make
yeah.
another podcast about.
He also did An American Werewolf in London, which is a classic.
Boy, he's a producer on the new one as well. Anyway,
I think this was the last sort of thing that he directed before he started doing shit stuff, though.
that's
Wow.
rude.
You just ripped him apart, just like a werewolf in London.
Come on, man.
What's something that's more important than the director is that this is our first lead role for Jeff
Yeah,
Goldblum.
I wondered if that was going to be the first starring role. Yeah.
This is the first one we've had where he's the main character.
Yeah, and he
Which-
does nothing for an hour and 20 minutes of the movie.
I mean, yeah, he's very passive, but in his defence, he's very tired.
He is, isn't
That's
he?
true.
He's tired and bored the whole film.
Do you know, that's the reason Jack Nicholson turned this film down. He was first in line for it, but he said, like, the character doesn't do anything. He's like, people want to see their leading man do
I
something.
can imagine
was
Jack
like, "Oh."
Nicholson doing it and it having a more kind of sinister, stirring, brooding edge to
Yeah.
it. I think Jeff Goldblum
Do you-
brought literally nothing to this character. Like, there was nothing going on.
Apart from the end, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one good quick thing about Jack Nicholson is he flew John Landis out to his home to tell him he didn't want to take the role.
That's one of the biggest power moves I've ever heard of, I think.
I think that's quite polite to kind of do it face to face. It's like breaking
But
up with
to
someone.
fly him across America just to be like, nah. Soz, mate.
Oh, so do one of you two want to sum up what happens in this film while Jeff isn't doing anything?
Yeah,
Go on,
sure.
Beth.
So I actually found the opening scene to be the most enjoyable scene for me. So we're introduced to Jeff Goldblum as Ed Okin.
Interesting.
And he's looking into the mirror and he's like doing up his tie and his wife's there and she's making all these comments about like, oh, are you all right? What's going on? Am I doing anything wrong? And it's very kind of, it's that almost that like the absurdity of the mundane type thing. And there's even a moment where he
Yeah.
goes to put his fork down into his scrambled eggs and he does it just slowly enough so that she has time to like lift the plate up as if he's expecting her to take his plate away, and it's almost as if he's so
Yeah,
bored
yeah.
of his own existence he's just like turned into a robot. And I was really starting to think like, is he an alien? Is this going to be turn into some like mad sci-fi?
He does look a bit like Uncanny Valley at the beginning. Like
Yeah.
in that first scene, he changes a bit, like even just after
Yeah.
that. But in that first scene, I find it really strange. It's like he's trying to contain everything that is Jeff Goldblum.
Incredibly so, yeah.
To just try and be like a straight man.
And I found
you
it
know?
really enjoyable. I thought, oh, this is really interesting. There's something going on. It kind of was giving me Truman Show vibes. Like, you really feel like he's the carrier for reality, and the whole world, even though it seems so normal and so mundane, is actually, you know, like quite surreal because of how he's responding to it. And the fact that
I mean, this whole world is pretty surreal.
it is quite
in this
surreal.
film.
But then I feel like it really lost its sense of surrealism as we got wrapped up in this sort of crime drama thriller narrative. I feel like
Yeah.
it just lost all of that, and I really wanted it to just
With like a
continue.
bunch of slapstick thrown in as well.
With a what, sorry?
A bunch of like slapstick comedy thrown in as well.
Yeah. And so in the opening couple of scenes, it kind of shows him in his day-to-day life, and he's having all these like outer body experiences. He's definitely like disassociating, like he's not really feeling like he's very present. And then he even says in the car on the way to work, he's like, I feel like I'm from another planet. Which I thought was really like, and I thought that could have been a really interesting route to go down. And then a number of events happen. So he comes back from work and he walks in on his wife having an affair, which he doesn't do anything about. He doesn't address it. He literally
Just gets
watches
in the
through the
car.
window, gets in the
Oh,
car,
yeah.
drives to an airport, and then it all just changes. It just completely changes tone. So we
It's
witness.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
It's Michelle Pfeiffer, and she gets him. So she's a jewellery thief. She's got like, what was it,
She's a
7
model.
emeralds or something. A very
Yeah, yeah.
specific number of
6
emeralds.
perfect emeralds.
Perfect
They're
emeralds.
priceless.
And she's stolen them, or someone's given them to her. And the
Yeah,
So
that's all a
it's
bit unclear.
Someone that she works with,
Bit confusing.
a friend of like a guy she was with called Jack. She's a model. A friend she works with needed some extra money and asked her to bring these gems back while she was in Europe doing model work.
Oh, so she smuggled
she-
them.
Yeah, so she's just smuggled them back for him, and that's who she was with right when we get introduced to her.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
when those like 4 Iranian guys come and stab him to pieces, that's the dude she was bringing the diamonds to.
Right, yeah.
Emeralds.
4 Iranian guys, one of which isn't Iranian. He's John Landis.
There are 17 directors in this movie.
17. Yeah. what the fuck is going on in this film? David Bowie's in this film. David Cronenberg's in this film.
Yeah,
I love David Bowie in this
Surprise
film.
Bowie was a surprise.
It's a weird playground for all these up-and-coming directors to just have a bit of a laugh, is what I felt it was.
There's also Dan
it's strange.
Aykroyd.
I mean, let's quickly
Great
go back
stuff.
to that journey to work that Jeff initially has, because it's all really like solemn, and then suddenly we just see that they're all stuck behind this old dude that's reading porn whilst he drives.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Absolutely insane. Yeah, there's like an old dude in a truck, and like he just gets to him, and he's just like flicking through this porn mag, and there's loads of people just honking horns, and he's like, "All right, I'll go," and then drives off, and it's like, "Come on, man, you pick your moments."
Well, there's also the woman crying while eating a sandwich
Yeah.
in the car.
Okay, before we get too deep into this,
Yeah.
I need to try and clarify whether the advert that's played twice in this film is chanting the words "pussy cow."
I was baffled by this. I was really interested to hear what you guys thought of this, because
I'm going to
can't-
search. I have to search this right now.
I don't
will put
understand
Into the night,
the
pussy
relevance. What was the point in that?
I didn't pick up on that at all.
So there's this
It
weird.
does say pussy cow.
Twice there's this advert, and it shows a guy strapped to an aeroplane wing, and he's
Oh yeah.
it's the most weird,
I have the
surreal
lyrics.
thing.
It's a real thing. If you
He's a
want a
used
car
car
or truck,
salesman.
pussy cow. If you want to save a buck, pussy cow. If you want a brand new truck. If you want to change your luck. If you want to save a buck, pussy cow.
What are they selling me though?
Cars.
Cars and trucks. Hold on, I wonder if you can hear this.
Oh, Liam,
No!
you punched.
Seb, House Party says you have a weak connection, and that speaks volumes about you as a person.
Weak connection.
But yeah,
Seb, I
It
think
says
me and
weak
you have a
connection.
weak
I'll cut.
connection. Weak
That's
connection.
rude, actually.
I will cut pussy cow into the episode, but
Cal Worthington at his dog spot.
If you need a better car, go see Cal. For the best deal by far, go see Cal. If you want your payments low, if you want to save some dough, go see Cal, go see Cal, go see Cal.
it's a thing. I don't know if it's made for this film.
So it's an advert. It's an advert which has no relevance to the general plot, which is selling me a car and singing about pussy cow, but in which the guy is strapped to the wing of an airplane. That's what's
Yeah, he's like
happening.
moonwalking.
And it happens
Someone-
twice in
Yeah.
the film.
Sorry, I'm diving a bit deep, but someone in the comments has said, reminds me of the good old days in Alaska. Pussy cow.
I feel like we're so far removed from everything about this film. Oh, bye, Seb.
I'm
Seb?
still here.
Oh. Says you're not.
No, I'm here.
That's creepy.
I don't know why I've got a weak connection, but
I've been asking myself that for years, Seb.
This is the last thing I'll say about pussy cow.
Okay.
good.
But another comment says, I used to stroll down some hallways at my college back in the day, chanting this ditty, disrupting students and professors on either side of me, also garnering some major giggles from some folks, I might add.
Good use of the word garnering.
Yeah, I don't
Chanting
hear
this
it very
ditty.
often.
He's skipping through the call of his college. The call of his college. The hall of his college, going, pussy cow, pussy cow.
The Call of His
I mean-
College sounds like a novel, like a really boring novel. Sorry.
Sorry, it's
I
gone
just,
off the rails.
I really wish they had just scrapped all of the weird pussy cow B plot, whatever that is, that weird shit.
It's not a plot.
It's not a plot.
Giving it a little much.
It's literally not a plot. And just stuck with what they were going for at the start, which is this guy. How do you react when your world is failing you? That's what's so
But it's
interesting.
not just that. It's not just the fact this world is failing him. It's that he is dissociating and losing it a bit because he has not slept for however long.
He's an
Like, he just doesn't
insomniac.
really sleep.
He's got all this responsibility.
He's
He's got a
dissociating all the time.
really high up job, and none of it's working. None of it's working for him. You know, he's living the American dream. He's probably making
He's a depressed insomniac, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
But
been
that would have
there.
been an interesting narrative. But it's the fact that they
Yeah.
start with that and you get invested in that. And then what really spoiled it for me was the fact that they tried to kind of draw parallels between the main sort of thriller narrative and his life. But by the time I got absorbed in the drama with what was happening with Michelle Pfeiffer and like the chase, basically, they turned into this Bonnie and Clyde situation where they're like fleeing these 4 Iranians who are What even are they trying to get the jewels back?
Yeah, they're trying to get the jewels.
They're trying to get the emeralds.
And by the time they brought back the initial narrative surrounding Jeff Goldblum's character and like what he was set out to achieve in the first act, I'd already lost interest by the time because they came back to it in the third act, so I'd already forgotten.
I don't think they were like trying to set anything up there as much as like just let you know who he is and where he is at that point, because this is listed as like an action comedy crime thing. Like it's listed as a comedy before it's a drama, you know. So I feel like that was less like we're setting up this really big character arc. It's more along the lines of like this is where he's starting, and then at some point, right, basically in the last 20 minutes, we'll show you how he's going to be improved by this whole thing. And there's kind of like nothing in between. So I don't think it was like there was something in there that you liked, and I could see as well that it could have gone a direction and it could have been that film, but I don't think they ever actually intended to make that film.
I think it failed then structurally because what I'm used to is seeing a character, establishing who they are. The film teaches you how to watch how to watch that film. It teaches you, it like gives you the tools, and then in this film it kind of went against that because everything that you were shown, it just wasn't then important because you got wrapped up in this other storyline. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
I think it failed in that respect structurally.
No, for sure. Like that, it's a big like disservice to like Ed as a character because nothing really goes on for him apart from like right at the end he just suddenly just gets confidence out of nowhere and is yelling at people with guns and shit.
And we don't see that. We don't see, and I think that
you do.
You don't see it in our eyes. You don't see any kind of progression. I didn't.
No, you just see him like happen. Yeah,
you see it
just
happen.
Suddenly
You
he's
don't
like,
see the
"Ooh."
build up. And I think maybe
No, not at all.
Jeff was bored in this role. That's all I can take away from it.
Well, he was fifth in line for this role, so if he knew that, then
Do you reckon he knew?
You had Jack Nicholson, then Gene Hackman, but they said no because they didn't think he was a big enough name at the time because he hadn't had his huge roles yet. Then they basically got him off of this because of The Big Chill, and they couldn't get Tom Berenger or Kevin Kline. So they just, in the words of IMDb, they settled for Jeff Goldblum.
I mean, you're not going to
No
do a
one should
good
ever
job of
settle for
something
Jeff,
if you're settling. Sorry, Seb.
No, I was just saying, settling. Yeah, I would say, okay, he's pretty dull in this role, but I still think he would probably have done a better job than like some of these other options, purely because there are a couple of those tiny moments when there is some Jeff shining through.
Yeah, like some of parts of this film. I mean, in general, I actually kind of enjoyed this film.
Yeah, in a weird way, I did.
It was kind of
I felt
fun.
kind of conflicted about it, but I did enjoy it. Do you want to know something that's really fun?
What?
Do both of you want to guess how many minutes of Jeff there were in this?
So what? It's a 1 minute 45 runtime?
Yeah, hour and 45.
I'm going to say...
he is the main character.
Ooh.
I'm going to say somewhere in the ballpark of like 90 minutes.
Okay.
I'm going to say 50 minutes.
Okay. It's almost exactly between the two. And it's actually really, really good in that we have 69 minutes of Jeff.
Is that the most we've had?
It's the coolest we've had.
It's the nicest we've had, but also the next most we've had is 23.
Oh, wow.
So it's 3 times the amount we're used to. So we're overdosing on Jeff at the moment.
But because his character was so like meek and milquetoast, it feels like less than other films because he hasn't taken over scenes as much. It's like this film's basically about Michelle Pfeiffer and him just driving her around.
I feel like I care more about the 3 seconds of Jeff Goldblum on the telephone in Annie Hall than I do about the 60 odd minutes of him in this film. Genuinely.
I think there was some stuff in this film that did make me laugh.
I hate the slapstick Iranian men.
Oh,
that's all they're known as. The 3 Iranian men and John Landis. It just...
It's sort of the way that they're like...
I do really like it when he smashes the TV with the big fish. I did
That's
really
great.
like that.
That's really good.
But there's a point where like he walks into the door and then he walks into the door again and he gets angry. And I went back to check. He shoots the door handle 7 times.
Yeah.
Flames are just firing out the end of his gun. There are no holes in the door and there's just scorch marks around the handle and then he just opens it.
Honestly, that actually really made me laugh.
I struggled to find the humour because I thought the whole approach to those 4 men, the fact they were given no character, they were basically all the same. There was no reference to them other than the fact they were Iranian. I found it, to be honest, kind of offensive, and I just thought it didn't.
Oh, absolutely.
Didn't add anything. It could have just been one person they were fleeing from.
They were useless characters completely, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even in those sequences towards the end when they're all eating nuts in sync, like they are sort of, they're weirdly supposed to be like one person.
They're meant to kind of be like the comedy relief of the film, aren't they? Like, look at those silly men, but
exactly.
they are not good, and just
No,
none of the jokes. I'm laughing at how bad like some of the props are and the things they've done around them, but the actual like jokes they try and pull off with them are so bad.
Do we know what the budget was for this film?
Ooh, good question.
I actually don't. I'll have a look.
And I mean, also don't forget they did absolutely murder a dog
I want to guess it's like 9 million.
3 parrots.
and 3 parrots. You're right. They did shoot 3 birds.
They get literally scared at and kill every animal they encounter. 8 million.
Oh my god, I was so close.
Oh, pretty close.
I'm getting so fucking good at guessing film budgets these days because I
Can you guess
always
the domestic
Google.
box office?
Not good, probably.
Guess whether it was a win or a loss.
Loss.
First.
Loss.
Win. I think it made money.
It was a loss, so point to Beth. Beth, give me your number for the domestic box office.
4.5.
Seb, are you going to go higher or lower than that?
I'm gonna go 6.
6 point what? Or
2.
just a hard 6?
6.2.
Okay, Seb, you win that one because it was 6.7.
Nice. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it lost like 3 mil. Well,
Yeah.
just under, but not great.
Not.
No, that's
great.
not great.
No.
I thought a lot of the writing and the like shot reverse shot they were doing for exposition was not great a lot of the time.
This film is edited so badly, man.
Yeah, like I think a standout example of that is when is relatively early on in the film, where Jeff and Michelle Pfeiffer are sat on some steps, and she's like answering his questions.
Yeah.
And she'll just sort of say, "Oh, I did this because of Jack," and it will just cut to a shot of him looking down, being like, "Who's Jack?"
Yeah.
And then it'll cut back to her, being like, "I was his mistress for 5 months," and it'll cut to him like, 5 whole months? No, sorry, 5 years. Sorry.
Yeah, it literally looks like the 2 parts were recorded on like different sides of the world at different points, and they just had to stitch them together.
Absolutely.
Almost as if like some idiots would record 2 podcast episodes 6 weeks apart. And then like try and string them together, like.
Yeah, we are John Landis.
Yeah, well.
But we're not being paid £9 million to make this podcast.
That's very true. We're actually paying £20 a month to host this podcast.
If I had $9 million to remake last week's episode, I would hire voice actors to be both of you.
Wait, what? Sorry, what was that?
No, I was just saying if I had $9 million to remake last week's episode, I would like get voice actors in.
Yeah, just pretend
What,
to be
to play
us.
me and Liam?
Yeah. And me as well, why not? Just get all,
There's a line I really like in this. So basically, we have actually explained really that Jeff's in the car park of the airport. Fuck me, my brain is soup today. Of the airport, and then she runs away from the bad guys and like lands on his bonnet and is like, drive. So then he helps her out and drives into the night. And
Good impression.
Thank you. She goes and takes him to a set, like a film set or something that she's been on, to go get some. I think that's where she wants to go hide the diamonds or something. Oh, it's her model. Yeah. It's her friend's thing. She wants to go hide it in her coat. Yep. And that's when Jeff is sitting on leaning on every prop on set.
Oh, that did actually make me laugh,
and
actually.
falling into it and everything. But there's a line
just breaking
when
every
the
prop.
producer's going into... so like the director's going into like a trailer, and a producer walks up to him and says,
Hi.
Yeah.
From the LA Times. This or this?
They're both shit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
and there was a lovely little interaction between the two.
Yeah, there weren't actually many standout lines in the film for me.
No, there were ones that were just ridiculous and made no sense.
I thought her writing, Michelle Pfeiffer's character, the writing was particularly weak.
Yeah.
It was.
There's a lot of back and forth within her character. There's a lot of like 1 minute, literally 1 minute she'll be like, no, don't go, please stay. And then the next minute she just suddenly doesn't care. Her whole intention just changes completely. There's
Well, I
just a
think
real
they
lack
try
of
to allude to that
consistency.
later when someone says that she just like hangs on to anyone that's going to take care of her or some shit like that. Like they try and make some excuse for it later on, like it's a retcon or something, but it doesn't
I
really
think-
make loads of sense.
That's actually said by my favourite Ghostbuster, Dan Aykroyd. He's actually not my favourite Ghostbuster.
I was going to say,
He's
mate,
like-
Bill Murray's in that film.
Yeah, you're right. You are right.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Dan Aykroyd is also in Blues Brothers, though. So that's probably that
Might be
connection.
boys. Jeff has
But,
like a very small reaction to seeing like 6 dead bodies.
Oh yeah, he barely. I feel like he's on. I think Beth, you've mentioned this, but I think he's fully dissociating for this whole film.
Yeah.
That's the
think
only
he-
logical explanation as to why he stays in this
Yeah.
in this woman's life. Why he keeps getting wrapped up in her drama and her bullshit. Why he doesn't just find a phone and call a cab and go home.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. And the fact that his wife is cheating on him and he's obviously trying to escape that. But
Yeah,
you
I
can't...
just think a lot of it is escapism for him, that he just doesn't really give a shit about his life, and he's like, this is exciting, she's nice, kind of thing.
I like that
I'll
we
just
don't
see where this
necessarily. I like that we don't. Like we don't always have to see a character breaking down for it to be emotional, because that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
life. You don't always see that side of people. You don't always get to experience that vulnerability in people, and quite often you do in films. So it's nice to sometimes see the other side of that, and I get that and I appreciate
Yeah,
that. But it wasn't quite enough for me. Like it just felt like, why didn't he just leave? Like why didn't he just go? You know.
Yeah, he was just kind of there for the whole film, just kind
He
of
could
being
have
dragged
actually
around.
not been in this film. He could have just not been in this film. Like, it could have been her story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, what would have changed, like plot-wise, really, apart from their plan at the end to like she goes and hides the diamonds and he goes and meets someone that wants to buy them? I can't
because
really
what
see
does she actually use him for?
to drive
Just being a
around
chauffeur.
and a chauffeur
Yeah.
to be safe. She doesn't want to go into places by herself.
She can
'cause
drive,
people are beating
though.
her up.
She can
Yeah,
drive.
but it was just like she just didn't want to be alone because people were chasing her and shit,
Yeah, like
and didn't want to go to the police, and he helped.
the fact that it could have been anyone. It could have been me. Could have been any of you two.
Yeah,
We all
anyone,
would have
It's just it was
fitted
him.
that role, except I would have left at some point.
Yeah, so it wouldn't have been you.
Well, no, but you know, maybe for the if I so in a theoretical universe where I live in like LA and I can drive, and I was at an airport car park at like 2 a.m. Maybe for like the first bit. Then after that, no, I'm out.
It feels like there's a lot of films that and a lot of TV shows which are set in LA, which work really well because they show strong characters getting wrapped up in the crazy events that can happen when you live in a place such as LA, where crazy things happen all the time and you're constantly walking into scenarios that turn out to be film sets. Like that's a classic and like a really interesting way of telling a story. But I felt really bored by this film, and I'm annoyed that I was bored. I'm annoyed that I was bored because I like that story. I've seen that done in other ways,
Yeah.
and I found that really interesting. And a lot of the time, it makes me just want to go to LA and experience that. But this, I actually was like, God, all these people are so boring. Even David Bowie was so boring. Like, what
He's
was that
creepy.
shit
He was-
mustache? What was that about?
And there's that like
He
5-minute fight
was
between
weird.
the dude that he tried to kill and stabbed in the chest but didn't die, where they're just holding each other's wrists for just 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
There was too much death. There was too much unwarranted death. Too much.
yeah,
And,
like,
and it,
especially the animals.
yeah,
yeah. I mean, yeah. But the people.
4
in
men
regards to
shot
the
like
people,
8 rounds into a dog.
So excessive, man. You could take that a horse like that.
Yeah,
Oh, this film. It just annoys. I struggle to enjoy films that are just bad in this way because it's such a waste of money.
Yeah.
I can't get enjoyment out of
Yeah.
it.
Well, that's our job, Beth.
yeah. So I mean, so one thing I do want to bring up about that knife fight, actually, Liam.
Yeah.
Did you see how blunt the knife was that David Bowie was holding up?
No,
It looked honestly like cardboard.
just like rounded.
Yeah, like a butter knife, and he had apparently slit 5 people's necks with it already.
Yeah.
What was the
man.
point in David Bowie's character? I was a bit confused.
He was hired by that French dude that just came in right at the end as just a random third party that was looking for the jewels as well. Like there was always just Michelle Pfeiffer and Jeff had them. Whoever these Iranian men worked for, who we find out later on, wanted them. And then suddenly they just randomly get ambushed by these French people that are just like, you must give us. We've got a better price. You must give us them. And then David Bowie's the person that hired them. Man.
Yeah, there's one bit where they absolutely par off that Frenchman, actually.
They say that he can't speak French.
They say that he can't speak English because there's a police officer there.
Oh, yeah.
And they pretend that he's their help and asks them, and they just absolutely steal his car.
Yeah, they steal a
in
limo.
front
It's
of a
stretch
police
limo,
officer.
not just a car.
Yeah. There's I don't have many great and positive things to say about this film, to be
Why
honest.
were shoulder pads a thing? Can anyone tell me that? Because Michelle Pfeiffer looks like she's wearing the jacket from Thriller the whole way through this film.
I mean, It
Yeah.
was the 80s. They make it very, very
I know.
apparent that it was the 1980s with that constant.
Oh, no, but
everyone's
I still don't
hair
get why
looks
they were
great.
ever a thing.
Huh?
I just don't get why they were ever a thing. Everyone
Big,
looks like a
powerful
fucking Power
shoulders.
I mean,
Ranger,
they
mate.
look fucking cool. Shoulder pads are fucking cool. It was the 80s. Shoulder pads.
Oh, can I talk about a thing I do like, actually? I
What?
thought the soundtrack was great.
Soundtrack bangs. It's BB King. That is my first note. That opening with the BB
yeah.
King tune is a good start.
I just thought the credits were
Yeah.
going to roll every time that song came in because I'm so used to watching like American, like early 90s, like crime thriller TVs. I'm really not. I've
Yeah,
never
yeah.
seen one of those in my life. Well, I have seen them. I just know of, it's just like a thing that you know
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
Like you
Cultural
walk in and your
osmosis,
mum's watching it or something.
Yeah.
And then the credits roll every time they have that standard like 80s twangy song that comes in. And
Yeah,
they used it over and over again.
I think they're different songs.
Are they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no repeats, I don't think.
It's a full soundtrack written by a
sounds-
dude, then BB King performed all of them, but all the songs are basically the same.
Yeah,
Um,
they're
Yeah,
all
they are
great,
the
though.
same.
So essentially, like the middle chunk of this film is just them driving to different places, swapping cars, and then running into these same 4 Iranian men over and over again, whilst they go around and kill people and dogs, until they make this whole plan. Jeff goes to the woman that wanted the diamonds, the emeralds, and
Shaheen?
Michelle Pfeiffer goes to hide them, and he can like negotiate and all this sort of thing. As he's driving away from Michelle Pfeiffer's ex-lover's house in a red Ferrari, are people fucking with us? Because he looks her dead in the eye, whacks up a thumb, and goes,
Banzai.
Ah,
yeah,
I
right?
clocked
"We
that.
just watched Buckaroo Banzai."
So,
I noticed that, and it kind
What is
of, when
happening,
something
man?
happens and it happens in like the edge of your peripheral, and you're like,
Mate.
no, the universe isn't actually doing this to me. Like, I'm just gonna let this
When
one
I
go.
heard when he said bonsai, I felt my third eye open, and I just saw I saw the secrets to everything. That Jeff actually is the Eternal Man,
Liam,
and we might be
I
uncovering the
think you
biggest thing of
can
all
you can
time.
choose to uncover the truth, or you can choose to just keep
Let
living,
Jeff take it out of you.
keep living life.
so,
You have to go.
I can't
so this
anymore.
does actually lead perfectly into how I wanted to talk about how I think he fits into the Bloomiverse here.
Okay, please. Can I actually put forward something for you to then think about for next week about
Oh yeah.
the Bloomiverse? But I'll let you say your piece first. Please continue.
No, come at me. Do
Okay.
it.
So it requires some watching, if you haven't, of an extra thing.
Okay.
But in the world according to Jeff Goldblum, his Disney Plus show, he goes to the Nike like sneaker design head place, and they ask him to like run across this pressure plate,
Yeah.
and he can't run. He just like bops down the thing, and the dude's like, can we try that again and maybe like less bopping? And he's like, I don't know what you mean, I'm running. And he's like, well, can you just give me like more strides? And then he tries again, and he just like does this weird little bop down the thing, and he just does not understand that that isn't running. But in this film, he's doing full strides. So in somewhere over the last 40 years, he has forgotten or lost the ability to run.
Okay, that's interesting.
So I'd like you to go watch that episode, then look back at the clip of him and Michelle Pfeiffer running.
Maybe
And
they
this
got
could
a
be-
running double.
No, it was him, full body, full body. I'll spot there's long legs everywhere, mate, because in those cream slacks, they look 9 feet long.
He does look very long. I'll give you that.
But yeah, please, that's something just for you to suck on for a while.
Okay, well I'll suck on that for a bit, and we'll see how that goes.
Cool.
But yeah, so I think that Jeff putting his thumb up and saying bonsai in this is just straight up admission that he knows Dr. Bonsai, which we know he does. He's one of he's one of the
I feel like
cavaliers.
this is the first time we've seen him like take the piss a bit about hiding in plain sight, you know?
Absolutely, and we already know. So in his job here is an aeronautics engineer.
Yeah.
That's not an easy job. We already know that he is a brain surgeon.
Yeah.
We already know that he has designed
Artificial hearts.
artificial hearts that actually work. So I think that what has happened is he's flitting about learning all of the different skills he needs
All the
for a
sciences.
project that we don't yet know what he's doing.
I'm so here for this.
So I think he's learning all of these different little things, and then in a film at some point, it's going to be revealed to us what he needs these skills for. And I already have a theory.
Okay,
but
please,
I'm not,
because I was
I'm-
about to say, like, this could be another point where we need to see if we get any more evidence from each film, not just about the wider universe, but about what his central plan is. If we can
So
each come up with some
maybe-
theories.
Maybe it's not just now that we are trying to prove that he is eternal and immortal and connected in that way. I think we're probably getting to the point where that's obvious. Now we need to know what Jeff wants.
Yeah, what's his plan? Why is he here?
What is he doing?
Because he's doing a lot. He integrated himself in multiple publications about music and society to understand the people. He's now understanding our science, the thing that makes us us and this world. He has been flitting around trying to understand it all. At what point should we be scared of Jeff?
I think he's doing it for our benefit.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah.
I think he's my only belief at the moment is that he is building something to protect us from something greater.
I believe he is the definition of chaotic good.
Absolutely.
Do you guys ever worry that one day we're just going to be terminated?
Yes.
Because we're
getting
sharing
too
too much
close.
of the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like us three
Hold on, is that a-
specifically.
We
Yeah,
are,
maybe
we
we
are the
need to
Dana
stop
Scully
recording-
and Fox Mulder of the
Yeah.
of the
I'm going to
cinematic
stop
world.
recording next to an open window from now on, just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case we're on a call one day and I just get absolutely just sniped.
Just get I just get creamed by a bus, like just comes through my house.
Oh, that was a good sentence. Scores,
Yeah.
Beth. How do you feel about this?
I think you know
That's
how
True
I
Bloom,
feel
yeah.
about it.
No,
True Bloom, though, True Bloom.
so give me your feelings, but in a numerical value, please.
Out of 10.
Numerical value. If only I could just live life only in numerical value.
Huh? Capitalism, am I right?
Actually,
I've got.
No, sorry.
What?
I was going to say, we haven't mentioned how the fact that this film just kicks the fuck off in the last 10 minutes.
It does. It does.
In
So
an absolutely
does.
insane way.
He does make a man shoot himself in the head by asking him why doesn't his wife love him?
Did he shoot himself in the head, or did one of the
No,
police
no,
officers?
He shot himself in the head.
Okay, this fucking annoys me then, because this dude is stood there, not fucking 2 feet away from him, 3 feet away from him are literally 20 plus guns surrounded in like a crescent.
Everyone has a
around
fucking
him.
gun.
And it's like
I
someone
get that
has
it's
to have a clean
America.
shot of that.
I get that it's America, but everyone in this train station or wherever they are has a
Well,
fucking
so
gun.
it's in the airport. He's getting walked out by. He's been double crossed by the Iranian gang. He's getting walked out by them, and then those miscellaneous Frenchmen are coming the other way. And then Jeff and Michelle are like, "Oh, something's going to go down here," and that is the understatement of the absolute century because they all clash. 2 people get stabbed, and everyone just starts shooting each other.
Well,
Civilians,
there's a bunch
police
of, like,
officers, does not
CIA
matter. Anyone that's
officers
got
or
a gun
something.
is
Yeah.
just popping.
Yeah.
Yes, and everyone gets shot, and then one of the Iranian men is holding Michelle Pfeiffer hostage with a gun to her head, and Jeff calmly approaches him and
Roast
says,
the living shit out of him.
But this is what annoys me.
He
because
roasts himself.
he roasts himself. He brings back this tiny little shred of whatever they were trying to introduce in the first
Yeah.
5 minutes of the film that I loved and then just didn't proceed with. They bring it back. They fucking hoist it back, and for no reason, completely unwarranted, just comes out of nowhere and reminds you of the 2 hours you just wasted and the 2 hours you could have had. Yeah, so they bring it back, and then he mentions to his stranger who doesn't know him, this stranger who has had completely different intentions throughout the whole film to him. He brings up the fact his wife is cheating on him, and he has a miserable life, and this guy kills himself because of that.
Yeah.
What?
And
the
He
fuck?
kind of turns
he
it on him a
laughs
bit,
and
doesn't he? He says,
smiles
like,
and
what
then
are you?
shoots
Who are you
himself.
to do this?
Sorry, you both talked at the exact same time. What did you
Liam,
say?
fire
No,
off.
I forgot what I said, so you go ahead.
I was just saying, like he sort of like he starts smiling and lowers his gun,
Does
and
he?
then just ices himself hard.
Well, yeah, because Jeff kind of turns it on him a bit, doesn't he? Saying, like, who are you
Yeah.
to be doing this, and what's your life like, and mine's shit, and I'm here, and all this sort of thing. And then that's what, yeah, I think you notice something weak in there. Maybe this is like Jeff showing a bit of his power for the first time in a while.
Maybe.
But where has
Ever,
this
like-
power come from? We haven't
We
seen
don't
it.
see it. It's off screen.
It's really
Maybe,
annoying. Why is it off
Maybe
screen?
the actual Jeff, the real man, shows his power. Maybe it cuts off screen. His chest opens up and there's an eye, and then this dude just pulls the gun up to his head like reluctantly and kills himself.
I honestly feel like they made this film, and instead of pressing the camera on when they were supposed to film, they pressed it off, and then they recorded all the annoying bits in between, and then they were like, "Oh shit, we pressed on when we meant to press off, and off when we meant to," and then instead they just decided to use all that anyway, and it just doesn't make any sense.
So what's
I
your
mean-
true bloom, Beth?
I gave this 1.
Wow. I gave it 2, to be fair.
I gave it 3.
Hey. Craft, I gave it 4 out of 10 because the soundtrack bangs.
Yeah, soundtrack's great. Sorry, I'm just entering these numbers live into the thing as we go.
We need to
Beth,
name
what
that
did you
table.
get? The Linderboard.
No, the leaderboard is the leaderboard where they get ranked. This is whatever your matrix thing is.
No, it's the
Needs a
same
name.
thing.
That's the same thing.
There's not 2. There's just 1.
Oh.
What did
Liam,
you
are
think? What did you think Seb had
Liam, are you
access
okay?
to?
I don't know. Oh, man.
So I gave it 2 out of 10 for craft, and I gave it
Nice.
2 out of 10 for enjoyability.
Nice.
You're just trying
I
to get
gave
things
it-
under Annie Hall now, aren't you? You're playing strategically, trying to bump it back
Oh,
up.
you're gaming the
I hate
system.
that I've gained this reputation for being the fucking ambassador for Annie Hall. Like, why is that? Why is that?
Because when you said I didn't like it, it's like I just handed you a dead baby.
I didn't love it. I just disagreed with. I disagreed with how strongly you hated it, and thus gained
Okay, well.
this reputation for
Yeah, it's
endorsing
your
and
brand
loving it.
now.
Liam, what was your enjoyability?
6.
6. Nice.
Fucking hell.
So let me just do the maths quickly.
Do the math.
Maths.
Also, Larry, who's in this, we haven't mentioned him yet.
Yeah,
who's
that's
like-
Dan Aykroyd.
Larry isn't Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, he is he not?
No. Dan
Am I getting
Aykroyd's-
who?
Dan
Wait,
Aykroyd
which
is
one's Larry?
like his best mate right at the start, and then you never see him again. Larry's that meathead that's on the boat.
I thought that guy's name was Larry.
No, so Larry is the meathead on the boat, but I would like
Oh, yeah,
everyone that's
yeah,
listening
yeah.
to this to try and find a photo of Larry from Into the Night, because he looks like he's made of plasticine, and I couldn't believe it.
There is something very strange going on there.
Yeah, he's just so smooth. Questionably so.
Yeah, unpleasantly smooth, very big, doing a bit of like a... He's giving me a bit of like Schwarzenegger vibes, actually.
Yeah, but if you
Or like Stallone or something.
if Schwarzenegger spent 6 hours in a buffing machine,
And I mean, who are we
and
to
then
say
was
that he doesn't?
sandblasted. Do you want me to do the taglines while you play around with the Linda board?
Yeah, I can't make it work.
Have your formulas been tampered with?
Maybe,
Has
maybe
Cyberboy got a hack.
this is what I get for making these shareable and having people look
I
at
didn't
them.
even do anything to it after you made it. After you gave me access, I didn't even do anything apart from delete
Beth, I'm
everything.
pretty sure what you've done is you've looked at it funny and you've ruined it.
Okay, so while you're tinkering around, we're going to do the
Yeah.
taglines. Three taglines. Two have been written by me. One's the original one. Number 1. Ed Oken used to have a boring life. Then one night he met Diana. Now Ed's having trouble staying alive. Number
God,
2.
that is just. Oh my god.
It's not
hate this
good.
film. I hate this
Number
film.
2. She needs some help. He needs some sleep. And
That's
number
good,
3.
actually. That's good. I like that one. That is literally
Okay.
the film. All of these are just the film. Sorry, carry
That's
on.
what a tagline is, mate.
Yeah, they're really successful.
And number 3. This could be the longest night of his life.
No, that's shit. Number 2.
I'll go again.
I hope
I'll go
it's
again.
number 6.
Ed
No,
Oken
it's
used to have-
fine.
God, this remote recording is doing my head in.
I love it.
I think it's number 2. I don't like it that much, but I think it's the most. I think it's
You
the
think
best
it's she
one.
needs some help, he needs some sleep.
I like it because I
Yeah.
think it captures the simplicity of it. And I think what I don't like about this film is
Yeah.
that when it tries to make out that it's something more than it isn't. And the fact is, all he wants is for everyone to leave him alone. He wants his wife to stop cheating on him, everyone at work to leave him alone. He wants to get some fucking sleep because he's got insomnia. That's what he fucking wants.
You know, this is
Yeah.
see which is the right tagline and not which one you like the most.
Falcon Dream.
But thank you, because I wrote that one.
Did you?
Oh, cool.
Oh, Liam.
Congrats.
Oh, that's so good.
But the one that you hated the most is the actual tagline. It's Ed Oken used to have a boring life. Then one night he met Diana. Now Ed's having trouble staying alive.
Oh my god.
That's
There
really
are
bad.
3 others that I found a minute ago, all on IMDb. And that's the best one. The other 3 are from John Landis, the maker of Blues Brothers, American Werewolf in London, and Trading Places. And then the
He
other
also
2...
did Trading Places.
Yeah,
How
he did.
good.
Yeah.
The other 2 are A Dangerous Comedy, ... And
That's
the 4th
bad.
one is A Dangerous Romance. So they just couldn't decide. They knew they wanted a dangerous something.
Gotta love some danger.
But yeah, Ed Oken used to have a boring life. I'd say he probably still will.
Yeah, no, his life's gonna still be
It starts
boring.
boring, and then it remains boring for the duration of the
Until-
film. And I'm sure
until 10
when
minutes
they
at the
turn
end when he's in a
camera off,
shootout.
it's still boring. Even the violence
it's-
was boring. Violence is boring because it's done in so many films. If you're
What the
watching a
tagline should
thriller,
be-
you know it's going to be in there.
Ed Oken used to have a boring life. Then he remembered he's Jeff Goldblum and everything was okay.
That would be better. So,
Where
to
are
set
they?
your curiosity about the Linda board scores, this is not scored well.
I figured that would be the case when Beth threw out all of that slander.
So it's so.
So I'm so passionate about hating this film.
You really are, man. Have you had?
don't know
Are
why.
you all right? Have you had a good day?
I've had the best day. I don't know why this has come out in this way.
So it got 23 points
Right. Out of a possible what? 90.
out of a possible 90.
Yeah, it's not great, is it?
It's the 13th worst film we've watched.
Fuck, out of 17. Wow.
Wait,
Yeah.
so what's beneath it?
I think you should say it's the 13th best, not the 13th worst, as if we're trying to
Sorry.
rank the worst films here, Seb. Jesus.
Sorry, yeah, it's the 13th
We have
best.
some
It's
fucking
number.
respect for Jeffrey Lind Goldblum.
It's
I'm losing all respect for him, to be honest. as we
Wow, strong
go
words.
through this process.
Right, Seb, we need to have a real chat because Beth's crossed two very thick lines today.
Are you going to kick me out?
No?
You need me. You need the conflict. If I wasn't here, this would be boring.
Yeah, do a
So
podcast of yes men.
So it's currently drawing with Remember My Name.
Fuck.
Oh, I thought.
No, sorry. It's one stop above Remember My Name.
Okay, I'll allow that.
Okay.
Because Remember My Name
Remember My
was
Name is 14 and
Yeah,
this is
that was
13.
bad. That was
garbage, man.
bad.
That was a bad film.
But the
And
soundtrack, again, I've listened to so many times since that.
Yeah, the
Alberta
soundtrack's
Hunter
good.
album.
So
good.
Yeah. What is it with these good sounding films that are actually bad? It's a
To be honest,
pandemic.
that's what I'm loving the most out of this. There's so many of these film soundtracks that I have been smashing out recently from these films.
Yeah,
'cause
they are very good.
Amazing, especially even like right at the early days in like episode 1, we were watching like St. Ives and
Death Wish.
Special Delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had banging soundtracks.
Yeah, I think Beth which was your favourite soundtrack? Was it Death Wish 1 or Death Wish 3?
Was it
Yeah,
Death
don't
Wish
forget
3
that is your
or
other brand.
Death Wish 4? I think I watched Death Wish 4.
Or was it the 1956 Invasion of the Body Snatchers? Was it...
Jeff Goldblum was 3 years old.
Man.
Yeah, maybe he was just a baby in the background. Also, baby in the background is actually a sequel to Baby Gets Lost in New York. So,
Oh, Seb, Dan Aykroyd was Herb, who was the one that said, "When was the last time you fucked your wife?"
yeah, that's right. Great line. Best line of the film, probably.
That is the one good thing about this film. I love that line. I think that's so jokes. When was the last time you fucked your wife?
And his response was, "You're a classy guy, Herb."
It's so good.
Imagine
so
being
I'm looking at
called
what the next
Herb.
film's going to be.
Wild.
So can I just point out that David Cronenberg was in this film with Jeff Goldblum, and then a couple of films later, he features as a leading man in David Cronenberg's The Fly.
Yeah,
I love
true.
collecting
Yeah.
these dots of his
This is it, man.
career progression.
We've got
So
some
he
pretty
would've
wild
made-
films coming up
Made
soon, man.
buddies with him.
Yeah, what do we got next?
Next is a film called Silverado.
Cool.
An action crime drama. A misfit bunch of friends come together to right the injustices which exist in a small town. It looks like an old western. And Seb, I know
Oh,
you love a
cool.
western, mate.
I do. I am a bit of a western. Yeah. I
Oh,
like
we've
a
got
really
our
good
old friends
westerns.
in there. We've got Scott Glenn's back, Kevin Kline.
Oh yeah.
We've got Kevin Costner in this one, Danny Glover.
Okay.
John Cleese is here. We've got a root and toot and time coming up.
But no, also do not forget that we are going to be doing a little bonus thing about
Yeah.
the documentary and behind the scenes of the adventures of Buckaroo Banzai across the 8th dimension.
To make up for what a hot pile of mess the Buckaroo Banzai episode probably is.
Yeah, I've as of recording this, I've not finished editing that one yet, but let me tell you, it's something.
We're sorry. It wasn't our fault. We lost.
Well,
things.
we are
film's
sorry
cursed.
about that.
Don't watch it. It might be the new Ring. You might die in a week.
But yep, that I had to buy it on Blu-ray. It's turning up tomorrow. It was supposed to arrive today, and it didn't.
I don't think they care.
No, they don't. They don't care about me.
Oh, I thought you meant like the listeners. Like they don't care, Seb. Fuck
Yeah, I
you.
don't. Yeah, that's what
Oh,
I meant.
Oh right.
Oh, I was talking about my local courier service, but that too, I guess. Anyway,
They definitely don't care.
Have you got
Oh
something
wait,
to
Oh,
they're
ask
not.
well.
Jeff, Seb?
Wait, as in like they're listening to this about in the past or the future about
We've
delivering
spent
something.
already way too much time talking about a courier service. Have you got something you want to ask Jeff, mate?
oh, can you, Jeff?
I know you
I
can't
know it's
physically
hard.
be with us right now.
Yeah, you can't, and actually, please don't be with us right now. But
Yeah,
want you to be
fuck
safe.
off, please.
We
But be-
want to do
but
this
be with us
podcast
in
longer,
spirit.
so keep making more films.
and if you could, tell us about what it was like making Buckaroo Banzai.
And you. And why
I need
you.
to know. I really need to know.
I have two questions, Jeff. Why you and how you?
You know, lots of people ask how you, but not many people ask how I.
Cool, man. So,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you so much for listening
You'll
this
get
week.
that one day. Don't worry.
Seb's always got a way of, like, figuratively farting and clearing a room with his voice.
Well, that's it for us this week.
Yeah, we'll be back in a week or two, depending on what our schedule is now in this upside down world, with Silverado. So
Hell yeah.
enjoy.
Stay safe.
Peace.
Wash your hands.
I need to wash my hands.
you-
I'm so clammy.
Beth, I'm very sweaty.
I'm so sorry.